gotta make sure my speaker's not on. Would you be able, your computer or wherever you're using this, it's off? Okay, just so I know that we're not gonna accidentally get.
Question.
Question, yes, Your Highness.
Am I gonna need my glasses to read what you're putting on the screen?
No, you will not.
Excellent, thank
Thank you. If I don't need mine, I'll make sure you don't need yours.
I can go get them.
No, it's all good. Actually, most of what you'll see on screen, I think you've already seen.
Probably, in person.
So,
and in practice.
no, probably just like through the pages and stuff. This is examples, so you may have already seen through the
Then yes.
side.
I've also had a front row seat. And
I-
a lot of the goings on, I'm imagining.
Yay. Yeah. Athlete, whenever you're ready, you just tell me. I swear.
Are you ready?
Yes, Your Highness. I just have to make sure the judge. Well, okay then.
All right. Start it off with a bang.
We try. So, friends, for those who have a challenge with this, I will let you know now. We will be having a small photo video thing happening. So if you don't want your face stuck on the internet, that's probably a good time to hide your face.
Can you start with introducing yourself?
Of course.
Thank you.
It's all part of it.
Okay.
So, sorry, let me just, wrong one. So for those of you that don't know who I am, my name is Lord Jameson Wheeler. I am from the fine shire of Lionsdale, or as I like to say, of two lions. I am. Okay, I didn't know if that was a scratch or a question. So, however, if I may, we're just gonna have a quick little video here, because that's the way I roll. So what we're doing is just gonna be a quick little introduction. This is, okay, just gonna back that off. So, video. There we go. Good evening, friends, Lionsdale. This is your Bardic branch marshal having a great time at the Thierry Bardic Championship, and these are all of our friends. And there you go. So, we're going to see that come up in just a minute here. Let me just get my notes if I could. The basic question, I'm a key person in the what am I doing here right now? And the basic question is championing the Bardic arts. How do we do that? How do I do that? Not how will I do that? How do I do that? Because one thing that Her Majesty taught me, and I mean Elizabeth, is that it doesn't matter the rank you hold, anyone can be a leader. So, it's really simple. When I started throwing axes and knives, started having a good time with that and started being pretty half decent, I had the idea that I could visit some of the shires, the other branches of Thierry, and promote the sport. And then I realized something. Thierry's freaking huge. It's really expensive to get around. My boss isn't going to give me the time off. My kids might want to see me occasionally.
Maybe once a year.
I'm sorry?
Maybe once or twice.
Maybe, well, but that's the point. I went up to Colmuir, and I used Colmuir as the example. I went up there for Forest Champs shortly after I became a senior marshal with every intention of coming back. I didn't go back again until the following Forest Champions because life happens. What can we do though when we recognize that life happens and we cannot get to those shires? We can't get to the farther reaches of our fair principality. We can use technology. we can use technology. So, there's where we are. The one other thing too, and this is one of the questions, is who's our audience? A lot of things we all see is classes and all that, and doing one thing and doing it well. This isn't that. This is doing a multitude of things all at the same time for a multitude of different audiences. Myself, I focus in on new people. As I've been fond of telling Duke Saverick, I'm not here for you. I'm here for the new people. I said, you don't need me here. If I didn't walk in the door, it wouldn't matter to you. You'd continue playing as you have for the last 1,000 years. And I say this, by the way, I am the same age as Duke Saverick. But that's the point, is he doesn't need me here. Athelina, as a bard, doesn't need me here. Well, okay, it's not. I like to think it's nice that I'm here, but I'm not needed here. But some of the other younger bards, they definitely need us here. So we can use technology to create connections. We can use that, and then with those connections, we create a stronger SCA, because every association, I don't care what it is, what it has ever been, is always about people. And the SCA is no different. And this is just another way of being able to go beyond those great divides across mountains and across valleys and say, this is who we are and you're important. So, as baronial champion of Lionsgate, I actually have done a couple things, and of course I did that just now. Right, so I hit something twice. Right there. So, this is Bardic Fire Fridays. I started posting this on the baronial website. I promised you didn't need your glasses. I will tell you what's on the screen. Is Bardic Fire Fridays. And what that is I write down a little bit of a song. And not even a little bit, I write the whole damn song in a post. And then at the bottom of the post, I put a YouTube link to the song. And that's a song that I love. It's a song that we've heard around the Bardic circle. Those sorts of things. And then, so somebody can go, I heard that song at Bardic. This one I think is Captain. So somebody may have heard that at Colmuir, because we did it at Colmuir. And someone go, that's kind of a fun song. I wonder how they did that. They can go on here at their own time, in their own leisure, in the company of themselves, in the comfort of their own living room, and learn the song. And then they can maybe bring it forward at their next Bardic circle that they come to. Or just when a friend's hanging out with them, or they're listening in the car. Because what we're going to be doing is we're going to be promoting the songs and the stories that we love. And we're going to be letting people come to us on their terms. The other thing that we've done also with Bardic Fire Fridays is I welcomed the senior bards of the barony to bring me their Bardic songs performed by them. So therefore what that's going to do is the younger people that are coming in going, I want to sound like Athelina. And Athelina, you're so going to be picked on right now because you're sitting right there, just so you know. So,
I'm putting all these scribbly things on a piece of paper in your head.
so, but I want to sound just like her. And I want to be able to do that too. I want to be able to have my voice up there because, you know, that's kind of cool. Like, that's kind of awesome. How do I do that? So we're going to bring, by doing that, we're bringing more and diverse and different voices to the table, which is going to get to my next point. That's so important as a Bardic champion. When we go somewhere, when we do eventually get there, there should be no one louder, no one with a more word of encouragement, no one more with open arms to new and wonderful bards than their champion. Because, as I like to say this, and I've actually said this to their excellencies Lionsgate, I said, I stand behind your chairs, but I'm looking at them. So that's the relationship that we have. And to me, that's a level of service that person provides. So that's what we see. Another type of that, when we do get, and this one should play. I had it. Okay, it's not gonna do that. Because I don't know why my Bluetooth's not working. But what this is, and you can see it, is simply a video of me, this face, Cameron, talking to the people of, in this case, Colmore. I want to give you an example. So what I love when we know a measure of a champion doing their job is how many people are showing up, right? So this was Colmore. I was their Bardic defender last year, just since passed that on. So I did a little video, just Cameron, talking to the people of Colmore, talking to Sue, talking to Kat, talking to those folks, saying, hey, let's come out and this is how you can be the Bardic defender, right? So the Saturday of the feast was the Bardic Championship, and we had 11 people at the Bardic Championship in Colmore, of all places. That was amazing. And my goodness, if my sound doesn't work for this one, I'm going to cry just a little bit.
Tears.
I said a little bit.
A good bar should cry.
Because this is actually funny. It's a good song. And it's just not exciting to you just because. But anyways, somebody may recognize that singer and who he's singing about. Bringing a coin to somebody. So this was one of the performances at Colmore, one of our 11. I can't even remember actually. All I remember is it was incredibly funny. There was a lot of laughter, and we had a lot of new bards at that event. So we talk about bringing people in. We talk about having diverse voices. That's how we do it, and it was all about connection. That video, the first one you saw, just me talking into the camera. They got to see Cameron. They got to they got to strip everything away, and I was able to create a connection with that person. So, for example, Michelle, who I've never met before, who was the steward of the event, knew me through the video. They can also know you through those same videos. They're doing that same thing. So there's that. And then now you're going to ask yourself, how easy is this to do? Who can do this? How hard is this? Because there aren't a lot of us that do it, that make videos, that post stuff online in such a way. It is the easiest thing in the world. Not quite, but pretty close. So you saw me post that. We made one here a minute ago. It should be. If I just refresh this. Oh, where did my refresh button? Should be down here? Should be down here already. No, just because it's decided just to be a pain in the butt. That is the wonders of technology sometimes. Unfortunately. Go that way. Let's see what this is now. It's taking a bit for some reason. Anyways, it is, as we all know, sometimes, especially with Facebook, it doesn't happen right immediately. Sometimes there's a lag. Coming from California, as it does. So, but it's really simple. You just take the video, you do it. You'll notice, by the way, that I made a mistake on the first video, the first time we tried it. And that's perfectly okay, and I encourage you to make those mistakes. When I did that one, there's one I think, yeah, that one at Colmore, I'll use that as an example. It took me 5 tries. I just put it on my phone, put video into my phone, right? I go to my handy-dandy telephone. I go to the camera app, go to video, turn it around so it's looking at my end of the mug, and say what I want to say. I have a kind of script in my head. It takes me about 5, 6, 7, 8, 10 tries. But it works. Because again, you're just stripping away who you are, and they're seeing Cameron. Because in this instance, that's what I want them to see. When we come here, I want them to see Jameson. Are they here? In this instance, when it's all brand new people. So we talk about, the question also too is, who's our audience? Our audience, when it's a video of me performing and there's one from Colmore again, I want them to see Jameson, and that's who they're seeing in that performance. Today, earlier, during the play, whoever was watching that was seeing Jameson. Again, that's about knowing who your audience is, and changing what you're doing to suit your audience. And eventually, in good time, you can do something like that. This actually is a TikTok made by our Shire web minister in Lansdale. Unfortunately, it's going to be a little light in here. But she did that all to, do you know the song Savage Daughter?
Yeah. Yes.
Right? An incredibly inspiring song. Inspiring, I heard that somewhere about Bardic Arts. We inspire. So she took an inspiring song, and in this case, she wanted to showcase the women of Tiri. And so you'll notice actually all of these combatants are all women. Using that inspiration from that Bardic, and of course we all hear Savage Daughter of Bardic Fire, who hasn't? And that's when you get a little bit of skill, more than I have, but I'm working on it. That's where you get to. And that is how I will, regardless how this ends up today, continue championing the Bardic Arts in our Fair Principles. Thank you. Oh, sure. Now someone thinks I'm playing the voice. I appreciate that. No, I was, yeah. So the one person who offered to help, and I said no. That should teach me in the long term, 100%.
You probably got unpaired from that.
Whatever. I'm not going to worry about it now. Questions, comments, queries?
How would you, because this is a fantastic, amazing tool.
Yep.
How would you work on inspiring at an event where you may have the tools to be able to post, but are also in person?
Okay, so that's a great question, and thank you for asking it. That's the second side to this, and I didn't have the opportunity at the time to get into that side. Is because I've already created that relationship, and let's just say, pretend for a second we haven't met, but you saw my video and you kind of go, well, that's kind of interesting. Then I will, as I've done, I will let it be known again that for one, when I do anything, when I'm a guy leading a Bardic, whatever, period-esque is a really wide, that's huge. Oh my gosh, Bardic Privateers, Stan Rogers. He's period in my world. You know? 1980 is period, apparently. But that because I want to take those barriers down. So I'm going to, and hopefully you're gonna hear this. I'm gonna try tearing those barriers down. You don't have to do something in Middle English, and that should put your minds at ease. I'm gonna perform something that is not period. I will then, because normally that's how I do it. I start the first thing, and I'll do something that's totally not period, and I'll let people know that. A little while later, after we have a couple more bards in, I'll do something more period to kind of get those people recognize that, yeah, we're not leaving you out here to twist in the wind. We want you to. So that's how. And through example, and then the other one is too, and I recognize this, and some of us are better at it than others, to respect the room. And I use all of this to get the respect of the room. So let's just say, for example, we have someone who's a brand new bard, and this happens, and they're just really timid. And in fact, you may remember this from Summer Fair. We had a young bard who was very unsure, very timid. I commanded the room, and then I gave it right back to her. And she did a beautiful job of that very song, actually. So that's how I do that.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions, comments, queries?
Yes.
Yes, please.
You talked a lot about how you would support new singers, but what about the other Bardic arts?
Okay, again, because of time constraints, that was what I focused on. And when I do when I talk about the Bardic arts, I talk about much more than singing in real terms. So for example, storytelling, which I have to say, you are the best storyteller I've ever heard. Like, bar none. When I saw you at Sea Lion War doing that story that came out of your former kingdom, I was like, wow. And then honest to goodness, when you showed up here, I'm like, I'm fighting for second place. Like, so, so for me, Bardic carts, and Bardic carts for me also too, and a lot of people don't do this, it includes dance. And you'll see actually we had dance at the Bardic competition in Comion. I want to be entertained. I want you to have fun entertaining us. Right? Yeah, no, 100%. It's all in all. Anything else? Any other questions? Yes.
For your Friday night Bardic that you run,
Yep.
do you have alternatives for people who are not on Facebook?
No, that is 100% a Facebook thing. Could I have something else? Yes, I could. Do I have the bandwidth to do it? No. I'm limited in ways, and in fact, that idea took me a lot longer than it should have to come up with. I just came up with that last summer as an idea, and I'd already been Baronial champion for some months before I came up with that. And even that isn't every Friday. For example, I was driving through the rain and the fog to come here on Friday night. I didn't do it this
And you
week.
didn't post Friday Bardic when you were driving through the rain and fog?
Because I am the worst person since Charles I. But it's periodic is how I like to put it. And I'll too, sometimes the inspiration hasn't hit me. Like there isn't something, a good Bardic piece that I've heard lately or that we've heard around a Bardic fire that I'm like, okay, other people are gonna wanna hear this. Because it's not about me, right? It's about what other people are gonna wanna hear. Not what they wanna hear, what I think that they are also going to perform, right? To bring those voices up. Anything else?
Yeah.
Yes, of course.
Your approach seems to be very centered around technology, so then my question is, how would you work closely with web ministers and people with that area of expertise, or would that be something that you'd try and keep in the Bardic community for the Bardic people, by the Bardic people?
Okay, so yes, no, and no, I guess. So I am a big tent guy. I have to be. Look at me. So I'm a big tent guy. Everyone has room in my tent. If you have something that you think you can bring to the table, please, right? If that means you're a web minister, if that means you're a cornet, if that means that you're an archer, I want to hear what you got. And then I want to hear how you want to implement what you got to what we're trying to do, right? So yeah, by all means, I'm all about that. And in fact, I work with our web minister to create, in our shire, to create our marketing plans, because I'm also the marshal, to create our marketing plans around our practice. Yeah, it's a real hand-in-hand type thing. Any other questions?
Got one more from Jazzy, and then we're gonna call it on this one.
I know we're over time.
Please.
I'm really interested in this from my own point, and I was wondering if you have anything to say around the struggles with release of information when doing online things like this.
In what release of information in terms of?
Like if you're recording something for a Bardic and how going around getting all of those permissions and making sure everything is properly.
That is a fantastic question, and the way.
It's so big, so I'm happy to talk to you after
Yeah.
this.
You know what, and actually it's actually a really easy thing. What we did, and because what we did for a long time, and we slowed the process down because we've got so many, is that was a form, we had a gate. We had the release form, a gate. And
Right.
yeah, and that seemed to do it. Also too, we did in some of our first events back from COVID, our web minister down, and this is again working with our web minister, she would go around and get, hey, can you sign this? And people who'd been in the SCA for like 20 years didn't even know that existed.
Yeah, so I'm actually just gonna jump in here. For folks in the room, can you real briefly, just like one or two sentences, say what it is that we're talking about, because we've gone into like, oh, but like, what about this obscure piece of paperwork? This
Okay.
is a thing that actually we should probably all be aware of.
So this obscure piece of paperwork, it's a model release form. It simply says that yes, I allow the SCA, and there's like a bunch of options. The SCA to use my image, my video, my voice for this, and this. There you are. Or no. In which case, that's respected.
Also, there's the option of a limited time period.
There is, yes, yeah. Again, trying to keep it down to 2 seconds.
Yes.
Yeah, and so if we're gonna be doing the things, we should be signing those release forms if we're gonna be doing the stuff.
And so then, just quickly, the question I asked before is what would the prince and princess?
Model behavior. I already have the answer. Model. But it's not necessarily being up and being a bard or being a puppeteer.
I figured that was going to come.
It's not about being a puppeteer.
No.
That's not the modeling behavior I'm talking about. Sometimes it's about respecting the room.
Yeah.
You know, and the hat does a lot. When someone over here is a drunken lout,
Yeah.
you standing up and going means a lot,
Yeah.
right? So yeah, it's that modeling behavior, 100%.
Cool.
Thank you.
Thank
All
you.
right, I'm gonna say that we are at time for that one.
Excellent.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
And
Thank you.
Dandelion, if you can prepare